Christina, thank you very much for that. Let's bring in Capital Area Planning's Malcolm Ethridge and Requisite Capital's Bryn Talkington, both CNBC contributors. Bryn, that part that Christina was just talking about, retail investors and their risky behavior, their risky bets, is that concerning to you?
Well, I mean, I feel like we have a 2021 redo. We'll see if we get a movie out of it. But I think also it's not just retail. You have hedge funds that are following these trends as well, which where in 2021, what started with, retail traders going against heavy short positions. Now the hedge funds are smart to that. So I think just to say this is a retail phenomenon is not the whole picture. You have a mass amount of hedge funds following these trades as well, which to me is amplifying it. But yeah, I think it's concerning for individual that are going to try to follow the trade, right? I mean, Open Door was at what, 50 cents a week and a half ago, and now it got up to 4 yesterday. And so people saying, oh, thinking you can buy performance. So I just think it's a speculative part of the market that as momentum has taken a breather, investors are looking for these other, we'll say 2021 type stocks. I feel really confident neither one of Kohl's nor Open Door, I don't think will be at these prices a month from now. I think they'll be back to where they were.
So you'd be a seller?
Oh, right. I just think there's zero. I don't. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. I don't see the catalyst for Open Door. I don't see the catalyst for Kohl's. Right? Have you been in a Kohl's recently? Right. So I don't see the catalyst. And so yeah, I just think this. I just would stand aside. I wouldn't short these names. I would just stand to the side and watch it play out and watch these stocks go back down.
Malcolm, what do you think? Is there still money to be made in memes? It's very alliterative, if nothing else.
To Bryn's point, I think more of what we see happening is investors who did really well leading up to and following Liberation Day, and they feel like they have massive gains in a lot of these tech names that are going to be reporting this week and next week through Thursday. They're taking a lot of those profits. That's why we're seeing tech sort of fizzle out. We saw Bitcoin sort of taper off and start to roll back. And then those dollars have to find a new home. And so where they're finding that opportunity is in these penny stocks that are being bandied about through, stock twits and other different online forums. And so I think that it's temporary. I don't think that it's a meaningful meme trade bonanza the way we saw in 2020 and 21 that had meaningful staying power with GameStop and AMC. I think this is a temporary blip, and I think maybe putting that timeline on it, something like a month or less, is probably realistic because the market will start to move in one direction or another, and investors will put that money back toward some of the best widely owned retail names like a Tesla or an Nvidia or something like that.
All right, about 45 minutes to go until the close, and we're looking at the S&P trading above the area where it would set a new record high at 63.11 right now. Let's talk about some of those names that are reporting earnings to come. You've got tomorrow Microsoft, but next week, Malcolm, stocks that you own, Apple, Amazon, CrowdStrike, and the like. What are you expecting to hear? Will there be a running theme, do you think, from these companies?
Well, I do think there will be a running theme both in the earnings performance and the guidance from the companies, as well as the response from the market. I think the big bank earnings gave us a little bit of insight where we expected that realistically the majority of the bad news was baked into Q2. And whatever we found out as far as tariffs and guidance from the big banks related to that, that was going to be as bad as it got. So the earnings that we saw from the big banks, and as great as it was, the market responded a little bit with a yawn. And so I wouldn't be surprised if, one, the tech companies reported massive earnings, partly helped out by the difference in the foreign exchange rates because the dollar has been down so much over that period. And that's a significant tailwind at the backs of companies like Meta, Microsoft, that do more than half of their business outside of the United States. But then I think the market will still respond to a lot of those big numbers with a bit of a yawn and start to sell those shares just as they have been this week, simply because those dollars are rotating out of tech, which has been a great performing trade, and investors are just looking to take a little bit of profits there and hit the pause button.
So, Bryn, you bought Tesla, which reports tomorrow, at $293 when Elon Musk announced the American Party and watched it sell off. Where do you anticipate this company going? What do you need to hear on the call?
Yeah, well, I've owned Tesla for a long time. I added to the position just because I felt like the market overreacted, which it has. Tesla's an interesting name because if you look at just the pure fundamentals, earnings are going to be down about 22%. revenues down about 14. And so you have the current business model has deteriorating revenues and earnings, yet the market, because of the innovation of Elon and his team with robotics, with FSD, Cybercab, they just opened up the Hollywood theater charging station, which looks really cool. And so I think that you have the market is going to continue to give Tesla a pass on current revenues and earnings. But I do think as an investor, I think you're better off more trading or selling calls against this name because the range has been around 270 to 350. And so I think going into this number, I would be surprised if the stock got above 350 right now, just because those revenues and earnings are still going in the wrong direction.
Do you want Elon Musk to be more involved in the day-to-day?
I think he's incredibly involved in the day-to-day. I think this is just some narrative that people say. I mean, he runs, I guess now 7 companies, 6 or 7 companies. He's incredibly involved. He sleeps probably a few hours a day. And so I don't think he's uninvolved. I think he has the ability to walk and chew gum, probably better than anybody else in the world. And so I just think he needs to keep doing what he's doing. And the market will continue to have panic attacks when he continues to tweet things that investors don't like.
Bryn, Malcolm, great to see you both. Thank you for your participation today.